Well, hello. I've just pressed record on YouTube and then noticed that I've written all over my head in red pen. It's quite embarrassing. So now I'm talking to you on YouTube with a red head because I'm currently writing a new children's book. Look, can you read it? And I used the red pen to correct my mistakes. But today, you've got me with a red head, which isn't a very good start because, to be honest, you don't even know who I am yet. My name is Alistair Humphreys. I am an adventurer and an author, and I'm the author of a book called The Girl Who Rode the Ocean, which I believe you guys have been reading. So, thank you very much for reading my book. Thank you for sending me your questions, Mrs. Dennis. And here we go. Anna says, what did you miss from home when you went on your crazy adventures? Well, I would say that I missed washing because when you're on an adventure, you're quite dirty and smelly. But clearly, I'm quite dirty out here. What do I miss? I miss my friends and family. I think that's obvious. I also really miss simple things like toast. I really miss eating meals on a chair and drinking like cups of tea and coffee out of nice cups, not just chunky camping things. So pretty basic things, usually to do with food. Madeline says, did you get seasick? Oh, I got so seasick, Madeline. 10 days vomiting. It was horrible. Oh. There is, however, a good cure for seasickness. Do you know this? The cure for seasickness? Sit underneath a tree. Izzy says, are Lucy and Tom in the book based on the real Lucy and Tom? My real life children are called Lucy and Tom. I guess the book's a tiny bit based on them. A little bit, I suppose, yeah. The name obviously is. Iris says, how many books are you going to write after Lucy and Tom canoe across the USA? Oh, yeah. Well, this is the book that I'm writing now. At the moment, I think it's going to be called Canoe Adventure. I've nearly finished it. On my wall here, I've got my map showing the route. Tom and Lucy are going to follow the journey of two explorers called Lewis and Clark. You can Google them and see what Lewis and Clark did. And Tom and Lucy are going to go follow their adventures. And at first, my hope was to write about 10 of these books. Because when I was a kid, I loved these books by a guy called Willard Price. Amazon Adventure, Arctic Adventure, Guerrilla Adventure. I love these stories. I think if you read them now, you might find them a bit boring. And some of their beliefs, I think, are not really that acceptable today. But I loved these books when I was a kid. So I thought I could get Tom and Lucy doing loads of adventure books like this. So that was my plan. However, I've found making up stories really hard. Because this book that I wrote is kind of sort of true. It's me rowing an ocean that I really did, and I've just turned my stories into Lucy's. But now to be writing these books where I'm just properly making things up, I'm finding it really hard. I don't think I'm very good at it, so I don't know how many I will write. Have you read this book? She's much better at writing books than me. So I don't know, Iris, how many I'm going to write. Tom said, did you ever feel like giving up? I feel like giving up writing books quite often. I find it really hard. I like it when I've done them, but I find it hard. Giving up, I would have loved to give up rowing the ocean. I found it so hard. I was sick. It was quite boring. It's tiring. I just wanted to sleep. But you can't. You're on a boat in the middle of the ocean. You cannot give up. And in a way, that's quite relaxed. It takes some of the pressure off because then you've just got to think, I can't give up. So I'll just keep going. Sammy, was I the dad in the book? And if so, do you love cricket? Yeah, I guess in this book, I am Lucy rowing the ocean, but I'm also the dad of Lucy, which I am in real life. And in my real life, I seem to spend most of my time cooking in the kitchen, being ignored by my children, and whenever possible, listening to cricket on the radio. Rosie says, what colour's your boat? It's a green boat. Poppy, do you still have the boat? So when I rode the ocean, I actually did it in a boat with 4 of us. There were 4 people in our boat. But my writing, so when I was writing this book, at first I thought I should have 4 in the book, but I found that so hard to do because I don't think I'm good enough at writing to do that. So in the end, I turned it into just 1. But in real life, there were 4 of us. When we got across the Atlantic, we sold the boat to someone else who then rowed across the ocean as well. Lucy said, how did you know what to write when you're composing the students' homework? The homework. So when I write books, I've written this, and I've also written books like The Boy Who Biked the World. And when I write these, what I want to do, hopefully, is to get the reader, you, to enjoy it and think, oh, that's a fun story. But secretly, in my heart, I'm a bit of a teacher. So secretly, I'm trying to teach you stuff, but hopefully without you finding it boring or realizing that I'm trying to teach you stuff. So what I did in this book, all of the homework parts were stuff that I found on the national curriculum. So things that you guys have to learn in school. And so I tried to find bits that were linked to the adventure that I could teach you as well. So I hope they were okay, not too boring. Poppy, are you planning to go on more adventures? If so, what would it be? I'm not planning any adventures at the moment, Poppy. I'm mostly writing books. I think if I went on another adventure, it would be quite a long walk that's somewhere warm but not boiling hot. And I'm giving that answer because I'm in Britain and it's freezing cold and I'd like to be somewhere warm. Charlotte, did you see anyone else? We saw a couple of ships occasionally, and once we saw a yacht, a sailing boat that caught us up, and there were humans on it, and we hadn't seen humans. We waved and waved and waved. We thought maybe they'd stop and give us sandwiches, and shoof, and they zoomed past, and off they went. Where am I? Hugh, if you could pick your favorite explorer, who would it be? Well, thank you, Hugh. You're giving me a good chance to advertise all my books here, because I've actually written a book about my favorite explorers called Great Adventurers. And these are 20 people who inspired me with my own adventures. When I was planning my own travels when I was younger, and I loved reading books. So people who were in this book, let me give you some names. This book, by the way, I think it's quite cool. It's a more of a illustrated picture book about all the characters. People like Ranulph Fiennes, Wilfred Thesiger, Dervla Murphy, Laurie Lee. Some good names in there. Fred said, where did you set sail? We set sail from, oh my goodness, where the heck was it? My brain is fried. We went from the Canary Isles. Which one was it? I can't even remember. To Barbados. We finished in Barbados. Isla asked about owning a boat. No, we sold the boat. Miles, what did we eat? We mostly ate camping food. These sorts of packets about this big. You rip off the top, you pour in boiling water, and then it turns into meals, a bit like pot noodles, that sort of meal. They're pretty disgusting, especially when you're seasick. Dan says, what's your favorite, the girl book or the boy book? Well, you've been reading that. I enjoyed reading that. To be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with this book. I think I made it too long. I think I wrote, this book's written for younger children, and this has been so much more successful. This book has not really been successful, and therefore I think I choose The Boy Who Biked the World books as being preferable. Toby, why is the tide higher when it is new or full moon? Well, Toby, I once upon a time trained to be a teacher, so I know exactly what teachers like to say in this situation, which is, why didn't you look that up and tell me yourself? I've got a pen on my chin as well. Florence, what's your favourite adventure you've been on? Well, my biggest one, Florence, was spending 4 years cycling around the world. So I guess that was probably the biggest and craziest adventure. Oscar, did you ever have to fish for food or run out of food? We didn't have to fish for food. We had plenty on our boat, but we did fish for food because it was quite fun and it was quite nice to get some fresh food, to eat some sushi, basically. Although we didn't have any, if I went to Rowan Ocean again, which I will not, I would definitely take soy sauce. So if you catch it and you make some sushi, you can, oh, that would have been delicious. Violet, have you done your adventures solo? I've done some adventures solo, but as I've just said, the ocean book, there were 4 of us in this trip. So it's a very different experience sharing an adventure with other people versus being on your own. Ruben, what would be your one possession that you'd have to bring with you? If I could take one thing to Rowan Ocean, which I didn't, it would be a fan, like a battery-powered fan to cool us down. Oh, I really wished I had one of those. Freddie, how long did it take to row the Atlantic? It took us 45 days and nights because you keep rowing all through the night as well. Christopher, what's your favorite vehicles to ride on? Got to be a bicycle. I'm a big fan of bicycles. Reese, I would like to know, how long does it take to make a chapter as good as yours? Well, you're either insulting me by saying that I should have taken longer and made them better, or you're being kind. I'll presume you're being kind. It takes me roughly 1 year to write a book, which I think is longer than it should. But, I find it so hard. And like this book now, I've nearly finished it. And then I print it out to check for mistakes. And look, I've covered the whole thing in red ink again. And I have to go back and write it again and again. I find it so stressful. Martha, what was the name of your boat? Our boat was called Tushmobile, which is a funny name, but it's one of the people rowing our boat. In fact, the guy in charge of our boat, called Marin, he was from Slovenia, and so he got sponsored for the adventure. So a company gave money, and the company was called Tush, and it's a bit like Tesco in Slovenia. So we were sponsored by Tush Mobile, their mobile phone network. So it was Tushmobile was the name of our boat. Marin was the first Slovenian guy to row an ocean. Lily, why did I choose a child as a character to row an ocean? And then I chose a child in my cycling book. I chose that because I wanted to write a book for children, but I thought you'd enjoy it more if, rather than it just being some boring old man, me, in the book, that it was someone a bit more your age. I hoped you'd be able to imagine it more like you, and it might be feel more real to you. Henry, have you ever hunted animals? Well, when we were crossing the Atlantic, we would fish to try and catch fish. Grover actually asks about animals as well. We saw some fish, tuna. We saw sailfish with massive sail, beautiful. Dolphins, whale, fantastic. A turtle, lots and lots of jellyfish. Cool little fish that just come under your boat and just follow you for, they look like they're the same one, that they seem to just follow you the whole way across the ocean. Whether it's different ones, I don't know. But yeah, it's really nice to see the different animals. Thank you very much for reading my book. You guys are on the Isle of Wight, so you've got plenty of ocean and adventure capabilities nearby. I hope that you enjoyed the book, and I'd just like to say to you, good luck with your own adventures. And I'm now going to go and wash my face. Right. Now I have to learn how to stop this. So then there's always this really awkward bit. So I like, hooray, thank you for your questions, and goodbye, everybody. And then I'm sort of going, how do I turn off the computer?